Day 11 of the festival saw the European premiere of Michael Winterbottom's Trishna, which takes Tess of the D'Urbervilles to contemporary India, starring Frida Pinto.
I was working in India 8 or 9 years ago, and I was in Rajasthan, and it just seemed to me that a lot of the things that Hardy's writing about in Tess and other novels, the sort of the rural community that's changing through modernisation, urbanisation, better education, better transport, all those things were happening in an incredibly extreme and dynamic way in India. So it seemed, like if you make a period film, sometimes it's hard to kind of capture a sense of a society which is kind of changing quite radically, because everything looks very nostalgic. So by setting it in India and in a really dynamic place like that, and a place that is undergoing a lot of very radical shifts, it seemed like it might be an interesting thing to do.
When I saw The Treatment, I just realised, and I don't know why I didn't realise that before, but the 18th century novel has a lot of common links to India already. So it's a perfect adaptation. I mean, when you talk about the sexual double standards, or you talk about the 18th century industrial revolution and what's happening in modern day India, there's a lot in common. So when I read it, it kind of actually dawned on me then that there are probably more novels out there written in the 18th, 19th century that do not necessarily, not written by Indian novelists, but could totally be adapted to India. So it was kind of a surprise that I didn't think of it.
The main heart of the film is a love story. It's a relationship between Jay and Trishna, played by Riz Ahmed and Frida Pinto. And it just seemed to me that was not about what they said to each other, it was about how they felt and how they behaved to each other, and that it would be better to let them kind of find the detail of how those kind of nuances could work.
At the Curzon Mayfair, another classic story of love and class had its UK premiere. Andrea Arnold's breathtaking interpretation of Wuthering Heights.
She's got a real belief that nothing comes in her way, so she goes and she works through obstacles, and I think it shows, and she wants everything to be true to life. So for example, when it was muddy and raining, she was saying, don't be bothered about your dress. If you've got to pull it up when you get off the horse, then do that. And it's really exciting for someone just to be so honest with the work that they were doing.
I've got so much respect for her as a person, as a director. To get like a cast of practically unknown people to carry a film like this is incredible, and I think she deserves a lot of respect for having the balls to do that. I don't think a lot of people would have. And she's just amazing the way she works, everything. It's been like the best experience. It's been a huge learning experience, and I genuinely really think the film's come out great. I think it's really cool.
Finally, BFI South Bank saw artist and filmmaker Miranda July take to the stage for the final masterclass, presented in partnership with Swarovski.
Do ideas tend to present themselves as one thing or another? Does an idea present itself as a feature film, as a short story, as a sculpture garden?
After I finished The Future, I kept having this idea, thinking about this idea, that because I knew I would be working on a novel next, that's what I'm doing now. But I kept thinking like, oh, I know just who could play this part. And I'd really get far with it. I'd be like, I bet she'd do it, she seems like, and it's probably time to work with a star, I can make that leap. And then I'd be like, what am I thinking? Like, I have to write that character, that no one's gonna play that.